Well, those are voters in Eti-Osa, federal constituency, Lagos State, saying, as you heard, we must vote. Seems they had cries of disenfranchisement, and that is what the election petition court for the National Assembly elections, this time in Lagos State, has agreed with, that in 33 constituencies, they were disenfranchised. In one of the most shocking legislative results from Lagos State during the last general elections, the candidate of Labour Party, Eti-Osa, who surprised everyone by winning the seat, he was an outsider before the elections and emerged victorious in the Eti-Osa federal constituency elections. However, his emergence and hopes of winning continuing as a federal lawmaker in Abuja, where he's been, may have been subjected to fresh challenges after the tribunal ordered a rerun of that election. During that election, Labour Party's Ata polled 24,075 votes. Banky W. Olubankole Wellington of the PDP polled 18,666 votes, 666, and Babajide Obanikoro, representative at the time incumbent, he's been in the House for some time, polled of the APC polled 16,901 votes. The tribunal's decision has been greeted with what we can call mixed reactions, and the actors involved have accepted to go again on their quest to represent the most important, you might argue, the wealthiest, you might argue, federal constituency in Nigeria, Eti-Osa. Let's not go into that. But join us as we unpack this issue. Former representative, I think he's still a representative, that title stays with you for life, Babajide Obanikoro, APC House of Representatives candidate for Eti-Osa federal constituency, joins us from Lagos. Rep. Obanikoro, it's nice to see you again.
My pleasure, Mr. Battles. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Looking at the outcome of the National Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ikeja yesterday, what's your reaction to this? Do you have a sense of relief that you still have a chance to get your seat back?
We sat in at TBS yesterday. Well, on panel 2, and that's in TBS, not Ikeja. Yes, I felt some kind of relief because initially the election was supposed to be declared inconclusive, and that was the agreement we had on election day, that it should be declared inconclusive, only for the pressure to mount from, Labour Party members on the returning officer to declare, and she had no option but to announce and declare the result, and that left us with just one option, which is to seek redress, and that's exactly what we did. And we had all the evidence. We had both in oral and documentary to prove that election was supposed to be declared inconclusive, and that was the prayer we sorted for at the tribunal, and that's what we got yesterday. So I'm glad that the system still works.
Okay, we tried. We did our best to reach out to your candidates, your colleagues, Ata of Labour Party and Wellington of the PDP. Unfortunately, they're not able to join us like they did last time you and I saw. But we have a clip of Banky W's reaction to this court judgment. Let's listen to it, and we'll be right back.
And our analysis, there were about 10 polling units in Eti-Osa where voting did not happen at all. The community came out from 6, 7 in the morning and waited all the way till evening, and INEC just didn't show up. And then there are well over 30 polling units in Eti-Osa where some level of disruption occurred, where there were thugs, allegedly there was a bit of violence, there was some ballot snatching, there was one of the locations, they poured water inside the ballot box. So there were all kinds of attempts at suppression and disruption. And what we know is that according to the law, whenever there's that kind of incident, INEC will cancel those polling units and give people a second chance to exercise their civic duty by rerunning those polling units. And then in the places where they didn't vote at all, they're also supposed to address it. And in a communication that we got, they said voting would be extended today from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. However, the community all went out again today and nobody showed up. So we came here to the collation center to have a conversation with the electoral officer, and she very respectfully and kindly told us that she has not received any directive from Abuja to say that she can go ahead with, dispersing materials and personnel to go and redo the elections or do them in places where they've not been done. So just communicate with people. Just let them know where they stand, when they'll be able to exercise that duty, when they can expect to participate in the elections. I think you're seeing a level of awareness and engagement.
Representative Obanikoro, we've just watched and listened to some of the issues raised by Olubankole Wellington of the PDP, your counterpart. But for your petition, I know you've talked about it a bit, but I want us to dwell on it for a moment here. What were the issues raised in your petition, and what were your prayers, and what did the tribunal say about the issues you raised and the prayers in your particular petition? Representative, do we have you?
Oh, yes, you have. Do you?
Okay, all right. Did you hear the question, please? Representative Obanikoro, can you hear me, please? All right, we seem to be having a connection issue with our guest. We'll try to get back to him as quickly as possible. But that seat, talking about the Eti-Osa federal constituency seat, is quite a very, very important seat as far as not just the politics of Lagos State is concerned, but the politics of Nigeria is concerned as well. When you talk about wealth of Lagos State, the wealth of Lagos State is mostly situated in Eti-Osa. The wealth of Lagos State is mostly situated in Eti-Osa, where you have the likes of Ikoyi, you have the likes of Lekki, Phase 1, and all the big estates where all the rich people live. Banana Island is in Eti-Osa. So it's a very important seat. Okay, Representative Obanikoro, are you there?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so please take us through the issues raised in your petition and the prayers sought, by your petition. Now, were they the same as the ones Banky was talking about, or different?
We practically had the same issues and the same prayers, which was that one, first of all, this man was not. We felt he wasn't a member of the Labour Party, and that the law says that you have to be a member of a party to contest in any election in Nigeria. We are yet to have independent candidates, and it's a bit unfair that some of us who subject ourselves to the rigorous process, you go through all the screening, you go through all the payments, the fines, DSS screening, what have you. We go through all that, and background checks, all that we go through, and then we finally get on the ballot box, and then somebody just come last minute with a court order, and the court decides that it should be a part of the elections. We felt that was unfair. He had no documents with INEC, no documents with DSS, so it was like an alien to us, and we challenged that. And there was evidence to prove that he wasn't a member of the Labour Party, but the tribunal, in their best wisdom, decided that matter is a pre-election matter and not tribunal. So that was ruled in his favor. And then the other issue was that election was supposed to be declared inconclusive because there were so many polling units where elections did not hold at all. INEC didn't even come. And there was a lot of polling units where you had ballot box snatching and what have you not, where the elections were not concluded or held at all. So and the law says that where you have a place where all the counciled council polling units have more PVCs picked than the margin of lead, the election is automatically inconclusive. And that was what we expected on the 25th of February of this year. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, the lady went ahead to declare Labour Party the winner of the exercise, which left us with the only option of to seek redress. And that was our second prayer in court, and the judges, in their best wisdom, agreed with us that with all the evidence that we had submitted in front of them, we have been able to prove the burden of shifted the burden of proof to the respondents, which they were unable to defend, and that is why they declared that supplementary elections be held in about 42 polling units, and where a total of about 35,000 votes are at large.
Okay, we had about 33 polling units, so we have to update that. So are you saying that justice and not just judgment has been served?
Yes, justice has been served.
Interesting.
Though I still feel aggrieved about the membership, because like I said, it's unfair that some of us take the pain to be a member of a party. Some of us take the pain to go around, do all the needful. You subject yourself to rigorous DSS process, background check. We submit all the documents that is required. We pay all the fees that is required of us, and then somebody does not do anything. Is in the ring with us. That's a bit unfair, and I think the Electoral Act or our judges should be more careful in giving judgments to just tell INEC to include people in our ballot paper. We need to find a way to get our laws to protect against that.
Interesting. I want to speak on the role of the Independent National Electoral Commission in all of this. Of course, they have to organize the election within 90 days in 33, but you're saying about 42 polling units with over 35,000 votes at stake. What did INEC do or not do that affected those polling units in question? And what are your thoughts going forward?
Well, yes, it is the duty of INEC to conduct elections, but at the same time, it takes more than just INEC for elections to be successful. A free and fair and successful election everybody has to be involved in that. If INEC is out there to conduct election and some of us are deciding that, okay, we're going to, not let the process go smoothly, there's very little INEC can do about that. And that's an unfortunate situation where, we have that happen in a few, polling units here in Eti-Osa. And then, like I said, they tried their best. I wouldn't knock them off. Compared to 99, compared to 99, compared to 2003, compared to 2007, compared to 2011, compared to 2015, compared to 2019, I think they've made a remarkable progress, and we can only encourage them to do better than they currently are doing.
Okay, the incumbent representative for Eti-Osa, and I must admit, it came as a surprise. He came from behind. He blindsided a lot of people who had their focus on you and Representative candidate Banky W. But the incumbent representative for Eti-Osa, Rep. Thaddeus Atta, reacted to the verdict with a tweet. Let's just put that tweet up and we'll take your thoughts on it. He says, "No cause for alarm. I'm here to clarify that I was not sacked. The tribunal simply ordered a rerun supplementary election in the 32 polling units where the elections did not hold. We will continue working for Eti-Osa. I urge constituents to keep calm as we are unshaken. We will get this through this together." What are your thoughts on that? The man is not alarmed at all. He believes, he seems quite confident of remaining in the Green Chamber in Abuja.
Well, there is no cause for alarm for sure. Nobody's raising any alarm. All we have requested for or asked for is that supplementary elections be done in polling units where elections did not hold, and that was what the judges granted. And if he understands what that means, that simply means he is no longer representing Eti-Osa. And the judges specifically said it, that INEC should withdraw the certificate of return that was issued to him and conduct supplementary elections within the next 90 days. So, that speaks for itself. Your certificate of return has been withdrawn, so that simply means you're no longer a member of the National Assembly.
But he says that he's here. I'm here. He says, "Quote, I'm here to clarify that I was not sacked." So
that's what I'm telling you. That's what I am telling you. If your return certificate has been ordered to be withdrawn, that only means one thing: you are no longer a member of the National Assembly.
Okay, so
except he appeals it within the next 21 days, he is no longer a member of the National Assembly. So yes, he has been sacked by the tribunal.
So you're saying he's misinforming his constituency, probably an impersonator? Is that what you're accusing your counterpart of?
I'm not saying he's impersonating anybody, but he's definitely not passing the right. He's passing a political message. Let me put it like that.
What are your thoughts on the petition of your counterpart, Bankole Wellington, or Olu Bankole Wellington? Do you think his petition played a significant role in this judgment?
Like I said, we both asked for the same thing, you know, and we both got the same thing. He also asked that Atta be disqualified because he wasn't a member of the Labour Party, but the judges, in their best wisdom, decided otherwise. He also asked that he be declared winner in the event that Atta gets disqualified. That didn't happen as well because Atta didn't get disqualified. And in the last option in his petition was that okay, elections didn't hold in so many places. How about we go and finish up this election before you now declare who the right winner is? Because truth be told, should the person that came fourth, should he gather majority of the votes in this 42 polling units, he can actually still win the election. So that is the main reason why we all contested this in court. That you know what, this shouldn't be and shouldn't have been. So it's nothing personal. It's just all of us feeling that our rights were infringed on, and we went to seek redress.
Okay, so you're saying that both yourself and Olu Bankole Wellington, who came behind Eti-Osa Atta, have a realistic chance of winning this seat from the 33 or 42 constituencies at stake in the supplementary election?
Yes, we both stand a very good chance to win the election from the 42 polling units with about 32,000+ votes at large.
We see that Eti-Osa Atta has been doing some things since he was sworn in, or he won the election. He's been reaching out to artisans in the Eti-Osa constituents of Eti-Osa, the fiscally challenged, and some are saying, well, they're feeling his impact. Do you think that he now has a better edge than he did before or during the election? More popularity, more clout, more followers, even more votes?
Well, I mean, like I always say, that popular does not win elections. There are a lot of factors that play into winning elections, and I can bet you he himself knows that he didn't win the election on his merit or his popularity or his stand on grounds. So that is not necessarily a positive going into this supplementary elections. And I am almost certain and confident that the areas of contest as we speak are the stronghold of the APC, and you can be rest assured that our chances of winning this election is 99%.
Who were those for whom the thugs chased away voters and destroyed the ballot boxes? We heard Banky say some of them poured water and ballot boxes and all that. You talked about some thugs chasing people away and all that. So were these thugs working on behalf of Eti-Osa Atta and Labour Party, in Lagos State?
I can't speak to that because they didn't come branded. So they didn't come wearing Labour, they didn't come wearing PDP, they didn't come wearing APC. So I can't speak to that. And I didn't say thugs came chasing anybody. I only said that because one of the reasons why elections didn't take place was that thugs came, and when you say thugs, doesn't necessarily mean thugs. It could just be voters that were feeling aggrieved or angry over one issue or the other, and some people just can't control their temper. It could just be your voters out there that just got angry that maybe INEC came late, or maybe the INEC lady is looking at them somehow. You'll be amazed how people flare up on little issues that can just go ahead and disrupt everything. And that could have been what had happened in a few polling units. I don't know. I wasn't there. I voted in my polling units. They counted the votes from my polling unit, and majority of the polling units around me went in that direction. But by the time all the reports came in at the end of the day and the following morning, we saw that some places the elections didn't hold, partly because INEC just didn't have the manpower to go there. Some places didn't hold because it was disrupted along the way. And that I can't identify who the corporates are or who they are working for, and all that I can't speak for.
Okay, let's take the tweets put out by Olu Bankole Wellington of the PDP regarding this development. You can see he put out a tweet on his Twitter account, or X account, let's call it, a post on X, call it these days, at Banky W, saying it is possible still. Banky W thinks he can clinch this. What are your thoughts on his chances compared to yours and Attah's?
I can't speak for their chances, neither can they speak for my chances, but I speak for my chances that my chances are as bright as they were before February 25th of this year. And I believe that the people of Eti-Osa are already, they see the difference, you know. The people already see the difference in representation. So I can almost guarantee that the voters are going to turn out, and IBU is going to be their candidate because it's their neighbor. It's the one they know.
Representative Obareko, when you say the voters see the difference, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, I'm not here to castigate or to point fingers. I'm just saying that the people of Eti-Osa know the difference between when IBO was representing them and now that somebody else is representing them. They feel the difference.
What is that difference, if you could be a bit more specific?
I'm not going to go into details, but I know that...
No, feel free, because we're here to understand. There's a story there. So what difference are you talking about?
Like I said, the people are feeling the difference. They know that I understand the terrain better. I understand the terrain better. I know the terrain better. And while I was a member of the National Assembly, the people felt my impact.
Okay, because I'm seeing some posts online. Some people suggesting that they're really seeing things that Attah is doing that you didn't do. For instance, I'm going to go to one here. I think I can't find it right, but I've seen some posts on Twitter where people are actually insinuating that the new rep is a breath of fresh air. Okay, so this is what someone said on Twitter. It says, good leadership will always be appreciated by good followership. When a good leader is in charge of people, the people rejoice. It's a congratulations to Eti-Osa Federal Constituency. The House of Reps member delivers a 500 kVA transformer he promised during the campaign. They have been dispatched to communities in Ado, Badore, Shangotedo, under his constituency. Good leadership isn't rocket science. You were there before. Probably this is also insinuating that they didn't enjoy good leadership from you, going against what you've said, that they're seeing the difference. So I'm not saying this is true, but I just want your thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, I also delivered a transformer to follow up more area of Ikoyi. So, like I said, government is continuum. And one thing I know for a fact, that whatever it is that government is doing this 2023, they didn't just wake up to do it. Were things that were put in a budget of 2022. And budget of 2022 was put together in September, October of last year. And Attah was only elected February of this year. So if you connect the dots, you can understand that a government is continuum. It's not his doing.
Okay, all right. Finally,
I'm not taking credit away from him, but it definitely knew nothing about it, because when the budget was being put together, it wasn't in the National Assembly.
All right. Finally, what lessons can be taken from this, regarding the electoral process for future elections? What are the reforms that need to be made to the electoral system to prevent such future challenges over the same issues and problems in the future?
Well, I mean, I guess as a people, we also need to find a way to defend our rights, our votes, because and it can be difficult as well, because I mean, I'm going out to vote. I don't know what other people's intentions are, whether they are coming to vote or to scatter the whole damn thing. I don't know, but it happens, and at that point, there's very little anybody can do. So, except start enforcing our laws, because there are laws there that says that those that disrupt electoral process or processing should be put to book. So when we start identifying these people and actually, nailing them and finding them or making sure they face the wrath of the law, maybe that will start changing the mentality that we have on election days of people that want to stop. So I think that would be a way to go. And some laws still have to be put in place to prevent situations where people that are not qualified to contest will just come up and then overnight and be a candidate in the electoral processing. So many things.
But by the law, according to the court, he is qualified to contest. Otherwise, they would have not allowed him, like happened to Imo Guchinyere, who they said can't contest.
The truth is that when you go to court, you don't take your qualifications to court. You just go to court and say, hey, court, INEC is denying me to be part of this election. Can you tell them to please let me in? And they don't look at your qualifications. They just say, oh, okay, INEC is infringing your constitutional right. INEC, don't infringe on their constitutional rights.
But that's the position of the law. Legally speaking, he is qualified to contest that election.
Yes, if you go by the primary school qualification, of course he is. But it's not just about primary school qualification. The law also says you have to be a member.
No, I'm saying,
of the party.
But by the courts, the actions of the courts, he is by law now. He has a protection, recognition of a law that he's qualified, not by the constitution, to qualify to contest.
No. It doesn't have the qualification by law to be qualified. I mean, by the judgment. All the judgment is saying is that adding to the contest the judgment has nothing to do with his qualification. The judgment only protects his right.
All right.
His constitutional rights.
Okay. So finally, I think from what you said, we can say you're condemning thuggery and violence in elections in Lagos State.
Any day, anytime.
Thank you very much. Representative Obanikoro, Babajide Obanikoro, a former member of the House of Representatives, candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the forthcoming rerun supplementary elections, for Eti-Osa Federal Constituency. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to more opportunities to be here.
Fantastic. We'll be back with more on Politics HQ. Stay with us.